Hi, I'm Kat and welcome to Kat's Cooking Corner. Today we are making potato bread. For this recipe you'll need 1 large russet potato, 2 cups of milk, 2 teaspoons salt, 1 teaspoon sugar, 2 teaspoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 packet or 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast, and 5 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, the first step is to make some mashed potatoes. For this particular recipe, I only need mashed potatoes from 1 potato. But since I'm doing another recipe here in a little bit that requires mashed potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and prep 3 potatoes and get them ready. Okay, once your potatoes are peeled and sliced, you'll want to add them to a pot of water. And we're going to get this pot of water up to boiling, and we're going to boil these potatoes for about 10 minutes until they're soft. It's been 10 minutes, so we're going to check and see how they are. I don't think they are quite tender enough, so we're going to let this cook for about another 5-6 minutes. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes now, so I'm going to check the potatoes once again, and yes, they are mashing up with the side of my spatula, so they are ready. So what we are going to do is we're going to turn off the heat, of course. Then, if I can find where I set stuff. I'm going to take a second pan and colander, and we're going to drain the potatoes. The reason we're draining them into the other pan is so we can keep the potato water. That can be used in place of part of the milk for the recipe. I have so many things going on right now that I don't have a lot of room. Whoa, and I'm making a huge mess. That figures. Oh. Okay. Okay, now we're going to transfer the potatoes to a bowl. And I prefer a metal potato masher to the plastic ones. That's why I transfer everything to a bowl and don't do it in my good cooking pans. And we want to just mash up the potatoes. At this point, we're not adding anything to the potato mixture, just mashing the potatoes by themselves. We're going to set the mixture. I'm going to mash it up fairly well. I'm going to set the mixture aside. And I'm going to try to get the potato out of there. Okay, now we're going to take a pot. And recipe calls for 2 cups of milk, which you can do 2 cups of milk if that's what you would prefer. You can also do 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of potato water, or you can do 2 cups of potato water. I'm going to do half and half. So I've got my potato water back here. It's still really hot. I'm going to dip out 1 cup of potato water. And add 1 cup of milk. Now we're also going to go ahead and put in, let's see, find the correct measuring spoon. There we go. We want 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to start with the sugar. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Okay, we only want to let it boil until it's bubbly around the edges. Then we will remove it from the heat. Okay, once we remove it from the heat, then we want to add our potatoes and our olive oil. We need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And 3/4 cup of the mashed potato mixture. And we're going to stir this together. Try not to make too much of a mess. And then we are going to transfer it to a mixing bowl. Okay. We are going to transfer the milk and potato mixture to a mixing bowl. And we're going to let it sit and cool for a few moments until it's cool to the touch. It's still a little bit on the warm side. We don't want it too hot because it will kill the yeast, but we want it warm so that it activates the yeast. Okay, once the potato and milk mixture is cooled down, we want to add 2 1/4 spoons or 1 packet of instant dry yeast. My mixer plugged in here. And we're going to turn it on to low just to blend the yeast in. going to add the flour. I'm going to add 2 cups of flour to begin with. I do it a half cup at a time. Now we're going to turn up the speed to medium-high. We're going to let it go for 4 minutes. Okay, after 4 minutes, we're going to stop the mixer. And swap out attachments. If you have a stand mixer that has a dough hook, then you will swap out attachments. Otherwise, you'll remove it from the stand and you will do the rest of this by hand with a spoon or whatever. Now I'm going to switch it to the dough hook. And we're going to add, we have 3 more cups of flour to add to this, so let's go ahead and add There's 1 cup. I'm still using a half cup measure. Two cups. I'm going to kind of give it a quick stir with my spatula and also scrape off anything on the sides. And we're going to turn it back on to medium-low for 8 minutes with the dough hook. Okay. And you always want to stir the flour in before you actually start your mixer, just so you don't have it just explode everywhere. As you can see, mine spit out a little bit, but not as bad as it could have been. Okay, while we're waiting for this to mix, or knead the dough, we're going to go ahead and prep our mixing bowl. So we need a large mixing bowl. And we're just going to coat the inside of it with a little bit of olive oil. And we'll just set it aside when we're done. And we've still got about another 3 or 4 minutes on the dough. So I'm going to go ahead and add the last cup of flour. I am going to turn it off this time. Actually, I'm going to only add about half a cup of it. So, well, let that mix in, and then, and what did I tell you about not mixing it before you start your mixer? Yeah, made a little bit of a mess there. It's been 8 minutes, so now we're going to stop our mixer. Go ahead and remove our dough hook. Come on. We're going to take, because the dough is still very sticky. It's not supposed to be sticky, so we're going to go ahead and add the last half cup of flour. We're going to knead this in by hand. You probably won't get all of it into the dough, but you just want enough that the dough is no longer sticky. Should still be soft, but it should not be sticky. Once we get it there, then we're going to try to make it into a ball. This dough is still somewhat sticky, so I don't know. There we go. There we go. That's doing better. I'm going to form it into a ball. And place it into the prepared mixing bowl. I'm just going to set that there for the moment. Then we're going to take and rub a little bit more olive oil on top of it. want to make sure that the dough is totally coated. Now I've got to wash my hands real quick. Now we are going to take a towel and cover it up and let it rise for 2 hours. I'm going to set it over here. Okay, our dough has been rising for roughly 2 hours, so now we're going to go ahead and prepare our loaf pans. So we're going to take 2 loaf pans. And coat them with olive oil. And we're going to punch down our dough. That should have pretty much doubled in size. And we're going to take it, divide it in half. Form 2 loaves. This is still a very sticky dough. Okay. So once we get both loaves formed, put in the pans. Let me wash my hands real quick. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more olive oil on top. If the dough is really sticky, the olive oil will also help to smooth it out. Now we're going to set these back over here. Cover them up once again. And this time we are going to let them set for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, your bread will be ready to put in the oven. Now, about 10 minutes or so earlier, you should have preheated your oven to 350 degrees. So, unfortunately, our dough didn't rise as well as I would have liked it to, but we are going to go ahead and bake this and hope for the best. You want to put it on the middle rack in your oven. And it is going to bake for about another 45 minutes. Okay, after 45 minutes, this is what our bread looks like. As I said, it didn't really rise like it should have. The yeast I used was a little old, and that's probably what the problem was. But we have 2 decent loaves of potato bread. Thank you for watching today's episode of Kat's Cooking Corner. If you would like to see more episodes, please subscribe.